Welcome back, people. It is episode 33 of the Taxi Squad podcast. Season 4. What a lovely day it is. We got a fair amount to get into today. Before we do so, you should go follow us on all major platforms where this podcast exists. If you don't understand where it exists, you should go to YouTube. You should go to Spotify. You should go to the Apple Musics. You should also go wherever you get your podcasts.
It's at them all. It's on them all, dude.
It's on them all. Now, with that, we got a fair amount. Strange and unusual topics of people breakdancing and Australian people in general. Olympics. We got some college football talk. We're going to go over the top 25. We've got some Hard Knocks review of the Chicago Bears and the general state of the NFL. And then currently baseball. Why is nobody watching it? It's the Taxi Squad podcast.
Come on, everybody, celebrate. The Taxi Squad is here today. So lose the blues, kick back and relax for now. They talk about sports and stupid stuff. They're probably wrong and it might get rough. So welcome back. It's the Taxi Squad. Yeah.
Oh, Vince, long time. How you doing?
Oh, happy birthday, Mike. You turned 23 today. You're looking no year older than that. You look handsome. You look young. How you doing, bud?
Well, Vince, this is our third year doing this. Started when I was 30, so you do the math.
Yeah.
33.
I was going to say, are you getting to
On
the age where you don't
Monday.
tell people your age anymore? When does that
On
happen?
Monday. It was a Monday. Hey, it was a Monday. It was, when your birthday's on a Monday, you do the best you can,
Yeah.
right? You still got shit to do, but it was a fun weekend of celebrating. Wife did a wonderful job of jazzing me up. It was a great time. That means two things. But with all that, it was fun. Went to the pool. As you can see, I got a little sunshine.
You've been sunshine. You've been sunshine.
Sunshine. But yeah, doesn't feel much different than 32. I will say that much.
Yeah, I don't think birthdays much matter until you hit the decade mark these days.
Yeah, you have nothing else to look forward to, not in the sense of like, in life, of course.
Existential dread, right? Yeah,
right. Yeah, right. You just year after year come to the understanding that you won't exist one day. It's wonderful. But with that, right, it's not 3-0, right? You're still in the 2-9 era. So this is your 29 era.
Yeah, don't love it. Don't love it.
This is my 33 brat era, as the kids are saying these days.
A little Charlie action for you, huh?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But it's my Aaron Rowan year, one could say, if we're going to relate it to sports. It's my Aaron Rowan year. Yeah. Baseball, White Sox reference, right? Come on, taking it back.
Better believe it.
But feeling good, man. It's going to be a blessed year. I have no reason to believe that it will not be. We're going to get this thing moving and shaking off the ground. Appreciate everybody who has reached out to me to wish me the happy day of birth. So thank you. And yeah, man, it's been a beautiful week. I'm excited to be back on a podcast with my friend.
That's me. I'm the friend. That's so cool.
That's you. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that you're the guy.
I have a question for you before we get started here. It's back to school season. People are going back to school.
Yeah.
I can't tell, and I know it's not, but like the feeling of kids when you start seeing the commercials, you start seeing the signs put up, back to school, and how we were just like, oh no, like it's happening. We're going back to school. That feeling was horrible. We don't get that because we work year round now, like normal adults, unfortunately. Is it almost better to not have to deal with that back to school feeling, or is the break better, right?
Oh, if somebody looked at me tomorrow and said you could take 2 months off.
Yeah, that's a dumb question. That's a damn good point. Yeah.
I'd be like, where do I sign that? I'll sign that deal.
Dude, that was such a bad feeling, though. Like, and my friends that are teachers, I'm like, yeah, no, you're so lucky. Like, I guess I already know the answer to that, I suppose.
To your point, I get some perspective on this because my wife is a school psychologist. So I understand where you're coming from in the sense of saying that, yeah, it would be nice to maybe feel that again or not.
Yeah.
Right. But like my wife is off for 2 months straight and then she's got to go back to work.
Right.
So it's kind of like, yeah, it's great to have her home
That
all
adjustment
summer. We
period.
go and
then.
do.
Yeah.
But like, dude, when she had to go back, she was like, "Oh, fuck."
It's got to be horrible.
You know?
It's got to be so horrible. Like, I can't even imagine.
Like, I get that after like a week off, like
Right.
what that must be after 2 months. But the difference is, I guess when you sell stuff for a living, you're afraid on like potentially what you missed. Although I got news to anybody, you just didn't miss that much in the grand scheme of things. You just didn't.
Depending on what you sell, but yeah, 100%. You know.
Yeah.
No one's missing you that.
Sometimes you miss the boat, other times you don't. But I wouldn't mind 2 months off, Vince. I remember that feeling though, because my birthday was either the week of you went back to school, August 12th, or
that's a good
the
point.
following week. The following week, you knew you were going back to school. So for me, it was like celebrate hard. So I go back to school knowing I had all the fun I could over the summer, and then it's back to learn time.
Yeah,
which,
man.
you
We're
know,
actually opposite. We're like two sides of the pendulum.
Yeah,
'Cause
because you got out of school when your birthday
birthday-
happened, which is awesome.
It's like, here we go. Best time of year. And then after that, it's just hell. So I don't know, man. I would like it as well. I think I would like it as well. But I would forget how to do my job if I got 2 months off.
If I had 2 months off, I wouldn't forget the job. I would just care less.
Yeah, what if... Never mind. I was going to say, I feel like, yeah, I probably would too, because I'd be like, there's so much more to life than that.
If anything, you'd be doing it probably more half-assed if you took 2 months off. Now, if you take a week off, that's fine. I still want to take a month off.
Yeah, you got to go somewhere,
still
though.
wanna
You got to go to, like, Greece or something.
I mean, I am trying to totally accrue as many days as I can just to blow the load, right? So
Yo.
for me,
Hey,
that's Italy. That's Italy. And that that means, meaning blow all the vacation time. What Vince, get your fucking head out of the gutter.
You said you got to blow a load. You're going to take a month off and just start blowing loads.
That could mean two things. Like you take all your PTO at once.
Yep.
Or both. But, but it's just a euphemism, Vince. I mean, whatever.
Speaking of things ending, the Olympics is over.
It's over, Vince. Thank
Happy.
God.
Some would say happy ending. So I have a strange and unusual for you. We all saw this. We saw this lady around. Yeah, you just got it. All right. So this lady, Raygun. Raygun's a special character, dude. You watched the breakdancing, no? That you didn't just immediately turn that on when you heard about it?
I didn't watch the whole competition. I just watched her being hip-hop Dina, but on a global scale.
Yeah, man. So I saw hers first, and I was like, oh, breakdancing isn't what I previously remember it being as a boy. And then I watched everybody else. I'm like, oh, she's just bad at breakdancing. So I took
She's very bad at breakdancing.
Yeah, bad. I took it upon myself to figure out how this became a thing. And what happened, she's from Australia. She teaches a breakdancing class at a university. She's a professor of breakdancing. Yes. I guess
so you got the whole story on her.
Yeah. So I guess they had like a competition for like who's going to go to the Olympics or whatever. Competition happened. She came in second. First person didn't go. She just ended up going. How did that happen? I don't know. I think she pulled something. She went through a whole... So she did the dance. She got literally 0 points. She did the cool little kangaroo hop, which I'm like, I might take that in the club later on in my life. Someone likened it to her saying, you know, like when like your nephew or like for some people like your kid is like, Mom, Dad, watch this. Watch this, watch this. They do something really stupid and inconsequential, and you're like, wow, honey, that was great. I think that's what people were doing for her. Because she went, she danced, she was bad, and she got ridiculed. She made a full sob story, like how difficult it is for white people to get into the world of breakdancing, and she's a real pioneer. Yeah. Awesome. She's a pioneer of breakdancing. Maybe you're just bad. I mean, honestly, like if you're a good white breakdancer, then you're allowed to do it. So yeah, she got mad, and everybody's like, "Stop bullying her," and I'm like, "No, This is the Olympics. What do you mean? We have to bully her for being horrible at sport that she teaches people. Like, anybody in her class better drop it today. Unless you want to learn that kangaroo hop, because she was kind of killing it with
Okay.
that.
Channing Tatum did a whole movie where he was dancing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what the race card has to do with it. Let's face it. The Asian culture is so much better at this shit than most.
Oh, for sure.
So what's their excuse, you know?
Yeah, there isn't one
I don't know,
because
they're
they're good
jumping
at
around
it.
like little ninjas.
And the thing is, too, is
Yeah.
because I was like, all right, let me see how many good white breakdancers there are. Plenty. There's a plenty of good white breakdancers.
Pulling
She
the
was just
race
bad.
card. Why? What did she study at Australia? If she
I don't know
teaches,
what
like,
she
what
studied.
Does she study? Like
she
racial culture?
I don't know. She teaches breakdancing. I'm assuming that she studied breakdancing. If there's one thing that you can't learn at a university, it's fucking breakdancing. That's something you learn in the streets. Like, their stage is a cardboard box. Go find a box and start spinning around, Raygun. Like, that's how
Yeah.
you learn how to do
Yeah,
it.
Raygun.
What are we doing
Yeah,
here?
you know what? I forget the guy's name. His name is like Brian something. He's like an influencer, political guy. He always wears a suit.
Yeah.
And somehow, like, I don't know, I started following this guy during COVID because, you know, it's like what you did.
Yeah.
And he's like the whitest guy ever, but he like break dances and like posts videos of it, but
Hell
then
yeah.
has political talk, which is hysterical in
What
itself.
an odd
So I'd love to get his
combination.
opinion.
He does like
It's
a spin
such
on
an
his
odd
head, and he was
combination.
like, "Don't vote for them. They committed
He's out here-
genocide."
He's out here being a D boy, right?
He's
right?
like, COVID's a hoax.
And then talking about talking about like, you know, real political problems in the country.
Oh,
It's funny.
boy.
But back to her.
Raygun.
If that's the case, Raygun. Back to the gun.
Yeah.
If she said, okay, that it was cultural appropriation or whatever it was, and it's difficult.
No,
for
it was just
Australian
more
or
like
white
it's so
people.
hard for white people to get into breakdancing, and like we're really trying to break
Okay.
barriers. That's the worst way to do it.
That's a horrible way to do it. Now I
Yeah,
digress, so
yeah.
I'm going to continue.
'Kay.
So, did you see her faces like in the lead up to her performance?
Yeah, she was geared up, dude.
Like she was like in the camera, like like flexing on him, like she was about to go out there and pull a step up move, 1
Yep.
and 2 and 3.
Well, she kind of
And
did. Like,
she
you know,
shit
in the
the bed.
beginning of Step Up when they're learning how to breakdance, that's what she was doing. Remedial step up moves.
I mean, this is why breakdancing won't be in the Olympics again, right?
Well,
gotta be.
also because France chose breakdancing as their one added sport. Every country gets to
France
choose.
chose that.
Every country gets
France
to choose.
chose that.
Yeah, because in France, a lot of people breakdance.
They do.
Yeah, which is a predominantly white place.
How do they get the statistics on this? Do they just like look at like a map from the census?
Well, there's
and say,
tournaments.
this
there's,
amount of people breakdance in this.
well, there's
city of
tournaments
Paris.
and there's followings and stuff like that. The same way that we know that people like baseball or football. It's the same idea. And then each country that hosts the Olympics gets to choose a game that they want to add to it. Like when it's in Los Angeles, we're doing baseball. Baseball's coming back because of that. So breakdancing is a one and done thing. But yeah,
Vince, they did play baseball. They did play baseball.
I know, and they got rid of it, and now they're bringing it back when it comes to America because it's an American sport.
Are they gonna? It's gonna be so interesting.
It'll be stupid. There's not going to be any professional baseball players playing.
They're bringing flag football in too, I believe. I know
Yeah.
Caleb Williams said, not to bury the lead, but Caleb Williams said on Hard Knocks that if that is going to be the case, that they're going to make flag football an Olympic sport, he says he wants to play.
Yeah, Burrow said he wanted to. Mahomes said he wanted to. Honestly, like we'll destroy him. Obviously, Tyreek
We
Hill
are
on a
going
flag
to
football.
be elite.
Yeah,
Elite.
you throw you throw a tall receiver out there and just be like, "Good luck, buddy." I don't know how this is gonna end up going.
Yeah, like Justin Jefferson versus Hein Krutanch. You know, it's not going to go well.
Dude, Hines is getting burned on a go route. Easy.
Hines is like, oh, geez, I just started playing this sport. And yeah, Justin Jefferson just jumps over and sink. I mean,
Yeah, he's like, I just ended
Oh,
your
man.
time playing that sport. I just thought it was funny that Raygun had the audacity The actual audacity to go about saying that and then get mad when people are roasting her, even though it was one of the worst Olympic performances I've ever seen. It's like, like when that girl did the national anthem and she was drunk and she was horrible because she's just bad at singing? It's the same thing.
Sure.
It's like, how did this get past everybody that was checking on this? Like, how did this happen?
It's a good analogy, Vince. It's not a bad analogy. I don't mind that. But what I would say about Raygun in particular,
Yeah.
she'll never break dance again.
Well, she will, but it's going to be inside her house. This is the thing, dude. Shit like this happens. She's never been more famous in her life.
Who gold then? I'm curious. Who's the female who won gold in breakdancing?
Let me check.
I need a name.
Yeah,
because I'm going to go do homework. Did France win the event?
I don't know. I watched the highlights of
All right. If France chose the event and they didn't at least get bronze, then you should just quit.
Amy Uasa.
From?
She won in 3 rounds against B-girl Nika from Lithuania to catch gold. Wrapping up alongside, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Japan.
So who hit?
Japan. Tracks.
Japan.
Tracks. Completely
Japan's
tracks.
awesome, man.
Yeah. Completely tracks. Now, I didn't see this, and I think it might be the same thing. Raygun, she defended, I was never going to beat these girls. Their power moves. What I bring is creativity, is what she said. All of my moves are original. Yeah, they were. No one else tried them.
All right, so back to the statement. Who won gold? Who won silver? Who won bronze?
So Japan won gold, Lithuania won silver, and it didn't tell me the bronze medalist. The bronze medalist was Chinese breakdancing athlete Liu Qingyi.
So we got Japan, China, Lithuania.
Japan, Lithuania, China. Yeah. I think anybody from any country can be good at it. I mean, I've seen people on the CTA tracks that are better than Raygun.
Vince, we are going to create our own cool runnings, right?
No, we're
but
not.
for the Summer Olympics, right?
No, we're not.
But
We're
for the
far too
Summer
dense.
Olympics,
We're far too
we
dense.
are going to scour the streets of Phoenix and Chicago, and we are going to assemble
Yeah.
the greatest breakdancing team this country.
We're going to
has
be
ever
Brad Pitt and Moneyball because there's no way in hell that we're getting out there and doing it because the ground feels more force from us than most people.
I'm not saying we're going to do it. We're coaching it, Vince.
We're not, Mike. We'll coach it.
Fucking spin faster.
Are you good at dancing? Yeah, I was going to say,
Do
why?
the head spin thing. Coaching from the side. Like, do the head spin thing.
You're
Come
like,
on,
oh,
G. Let's
try
get
out
it.
the fucking back. Do the kangaroo like Raygun.
I really love how they all have, like, pet hip-hop names.
Well, they have
Like,
to.
that's
It's part of the
hip-hop.
culture. Yeah.
That's
And
hip-hop.
that's hip-hop.
And that's hip-hop.
You
Right?
got to make sure you move.
Now, if
and you
they
move.
were announced by their real names, that wouldn't be hip-hop.
It wouldn't be. They
But you
got
see,
names.
this is breakdancing, so
Yeah.
it's hip-hop.
Right. Exactly. I think, yeah, we can be like the creative marketers that make their names for them. You know, like literally Cool Runnings would be a sick breakdancing name, to be honest.
Yeah. Right.
Or
We
like
would be the best coaches of this sport ever.
or like Chill Gates.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Come on. Chill
Yeah,
Gates.
so Raygun gets 0 points out of I think the total 53. All of the people reviewing it were looking at her like, what the fuck is going on right now? She should have known that if you go in front of an international stage and do that bad, then you're going to get ridiculed. And the fact that she is defending herself and saying, like, none of this should happen because she fought for women everywhere. No, she didn't. The first place person did. And the second place. And the third place. Not a goose egg in the Olympics. You deserve to get ridiculed if you get 0 points, unfortunately.
Vince, I agree with you. I think sometimes, though, you got to let a naysayer know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
About your struggles as a breakdancer.
That's a
in the
big
world
McAfee
of
reference right
breakdancing.
there, if anybody's wondering.
In the world of breakdancing, all right? So this shit's cutthroat, man.
Yeah,
You don't
dude,
know what
it's-
she goes
It's
through.
tough, yeah. To be a white woman in Australia or from Australia
Hard.
to come through and do this is just crazy.
It's hard, you know? It's hard. Yeah.
The cool thing,
Got-
the cool thing about the Olympics is There's other sports where people are actually good
Yes,
at it.
I was about to say, let's talk about more sports.
Should we
from the
talk
Olympics
about that?
than just
Yeah.
I
First
agree.
off, America fucking rocks. Let's give a clap for that. Let's get a quick little
America.
yeah, America. Sorry if you're in your
Yeah.
car, and sorry if I caused you to get into a crash there.
Yeah.
I appreciate you
Hit
listening.
it again. Hit it again. Hit it
Okay.
again.
God damn, is that
America.
loud? That is loud, huh?
Get
Yeah.
it.
So one thing I want to say first off is, you know, the whole women's boxing controversy with the testosterone and is she a guy, but she's not really, and everybody freaked out and yada yada yada.
Sure.
That lady saved us. That lady was our saving
Why?
grace. Because if she didn't win, China would have won, meaning they would have gotten another gold medal, which would have beat America because they would have gotten 41 gold medals. So shout out to that lady. Sorry, I forgot your name.
Vince, the controversies this Olympics around all the Pashad, whether you had a Pashad or you didn't have a Pashad.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. It was unlike any other Olympics I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, it ain't going nowhere either. It's just something that we're going to have to just get used to as we move on in life. There's,
man.
But granted, in her case, and this was false reporting, obviously, is, and will be a lady moving forward, that boxer, and people just jump to conclusions because of one bad thing. So this is always a thing.
I mean,
check your sources. I mean, there's been shit that we put on
Vince,
this sheet.
Vince, the eye test would assume, otherwise. I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what they say about assumptions, Michael?
See the jawline on her?
Yeah.
Stronger than yours
some
right
ladies
now
are
if you shave.
easy. Some ladies are more masculine than others, especially if they're taking testosterone. That's the thing. The reporting was, this is a guy that's fighting in a girls' event. No.
But if you're taking tests, wouldn't
She
that
was.
assume you're on steroids?
She was. No, she was on steroids. That's what she was on. She was on steroids, and then she wasn't anymore. She qualified, took a test, not on steroids. Good, move on. She fights.
Okay. So they still allow that, knowing the fact that she was still on the shit.
No. Previously, she did. Going into the Olympics, she's not on it. She passed her test fine. No performance-enhancing drugs in her system. She's just used them before for a considerable period of time. And she's also a more masculine presenting lady. That's just the reality of the situation, man. And so when people are like, she was a guy, you can't say that because she wasn't. She was born a lady. She just took a lot of steroids and became a little manly about it.
I mean, what if you think the bean grew?
You know what? I didn't even think about it. I didn't even consider that.
You got a little thummy? You think the
Could.
bean got a little tummy?
Truly
Looks like a
could
little
have.
thumb out
Not
there?
sure. I don't think anybody wrote on that one. I don't think there was.
biology test?
I don't think there was an
It goes along-
NBC. I don't think there was an NBC Olympics article that comes out measuring her bean, dude.
I mean, I'm just. Do you think they put them all in a row and they're like, all right, that one's weird.
You know, I'm
She
not.
gets drug tested.
I don't know how they do it, but I would put considerable money on that's not how they do it.
Just saying.
But yeah,
Have you
regardless,
thought about that?
because she won, America
Good.
won, and God damn it, thank you for doing that for America. Really, it's
Thank
huge.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Um,
man, lady.
America, lady with masculine features. America, America
one.
has 40 golds, 44 silvers, 42 bronzes, total of 126 for the Olympics. China following along with 91 for the Olympics, 40 golds, 27, 24. So, again,
He owned in
America.
the track and field genre.
but
We
Noah
fucked shit
Lyles. Noah Lyles has been up to some silly stuff, Mike.
What, with the COVID?
So the COVID was one thing. I don't know if he had it or not.
I don't know if he did it.
He was kind of raging before, and then it was like, oh, he has COVID, he can't do it. And then he posted a story like the next day of him just raging because he won all that stuff. And his mom was mad because they wouldn't let her on the Olympic track and field track because security wouldn't let a mom help her son. But in reality, like, maybe you shouldn't just let random ladies on the Olympic track. You know, that's kind of where I'm. You know, they have the best doctors in the goddamn world looking at him, and it's like, you got to let his mother on the track. I don't think you do.
It's his baby. I mean, that's her baby. What?
I know, but it's also the Olympics. Like, catch him after he's off the track. Like, no one's allowed on that field without, like, insane, like, coverage and ability to do so given to them by the Olympics. Like, I get it, but she was like, they wouldn't let a mom help. They weren't doing anything for him. Yeah, they were. All of the medical people were looking at him from across the fucking world. Like, if he's going to be okay, he's going to be okay. Like, they're not going to, this isn't ill will towards the man. Regardless, there's obviously been the, is it world champion if you win in America? All of that shit. We've talked about that, right?
What do you mean by that?
Noah Lyles said after the NBA championship, when they say, I don't like that they say world champions.
We discussed the world championship.
Even though it's clearly fucking world champions, and you can't really argue outside of that because it's just stupid to say that. And I don't know if this is true or not. He says it isn't, but a lot of people say it is. He got invited to Anthony Edwards' shoe release with Adidas because he's signed by them. And he denied it because a guy, like the best in the world sprinter, shouldn't be invited to a guy's house or a guy's shoe release that hasn't even won a championship. What's the argument? And again, he's refuted this, but part of me feels like it might be true given all of the fucking stories that end up coming out of this man now. He's really taken this being a runner thing very far in the media here.
If it's 15 minutes of fame, right?
That's what it is, and he might be back and all that shit, but.
Well, Simone Biles, this is arguably her last Olympics, right?
Well, yeah. Well, so this is what I was going to say. We have that guy, and then we have all of the other fucking people that are killing that too. Honestly, dude, Simone Biles is so much better than everybody else that a man like myself that knows nothing about gymnastics watches her do it, and she's like, oh, she's clearly way
elite.
Fucking better than everybody else. Yeah.
I mean, this guy, what's his name? Noah Lyles?
Yeah.
He's the fastest man on the planet.
He is.
So he could say that. That's impressive in itself. Just take
but
it.
But it is hard to argue, like, yeah, you're fast. But, like, that's all.
Man on the planet.
That's I don't know. It's running, man. Like when there's like a ball.
That's his event.
When there's a ball. No, that's what I'm saying. When there's a ball and I'm just saying he shouldn't be shitting on other people's sports because technically it requires more like strategy and knowledge than it does to be a fucking sprinter, even though he's the best man on the planet. Like I just think it's, to call a spade, it's running versus a whole game, a construed game,
Do you think he gets his shot to play in the NFL, Vince? Think he gets a shot to play on Sunday?
I did hear an argument that he probably got cut from a basketball game or a basketball team one time, and he still has. And I don't know if this is true.
He's so bitter.
But he's bitter. So he's just like, I'm really fast, and
bitter
fuck these guys for not winning. Yeah.
He's a bitter little boy because he couldn't develop a jump shot.
Yep.
There we go.
But goddamn it, is he fast?
That's our story. We're sticking with it.
Tyreek Hill claims that he can beat him in a race.
Ooh.
I think that it could be close.
Do you think we'll see like real athletes who perform in like professional sports, football, basketball, baseball, minus basketball because they already play at that level, but baseball, football, even soccer, you could throw it in there, right? Do you think any of these guys may have the ability to compete in anything else? Like an offensive lineman, it's so believable that they could throw shot put, right?
Yeah.
Look at the size.
Yeah,
of
but
those guys.
There's a lot of strategy with that. Like they got to really start shot putting. Now,
I will put good money on it that there were dual sport athletes that also threw shot put.
So this was what I was thinking. So, and we posted the reel, and a lot of people came back we posted the reel about Chase Budinger that we talked about 2 weeks ago. Guys on the volleyball team, he's the man. Wilt Chamberlain was like an all-country volleyball player. Like I'm sure there's basketball players that played volleyball. Tyreek Hill was a track athlete. Tyreek Hill could run track and qualify for the Olympics. There are people in sports, like pieces of it that are encapsulate an entire piece of an Olympic event. Like I think it's truly possible that we could see that. Now, will we? Probably not, given the fact that they win like $20,000 if they get a gold or something. Maybe less than that. Like Tyreek Hill wouldn't risk his NFL career for 20 grand at the Olympics.
Yeah,
So
and
it's-
I don't think in your contract they allow you to do one of two things. Like
Yeah,
I know, like
it's gotta
Kyler
be
Murray
pride.
is it's in Kyler Murray's contract that he can't play baseball.
yeah,
Right? He could, but the days of the Bo Jacksons existing anymore doesn't happen. I mean, it's kinda sad.
impossibility. Yeah, Deion Sanders, impossibility. If the U.S. women were in the Olympics themselves only, so not the whole American in aggregate, they'd be third in medals. The women are better than the guys now. Our guys are painstakingly behind how fucking good our women are in the Olympics, dude. They're lapping them.
Well, I think our development of athletic ability in the States, more so than any other country, is supreme because we do have some of the best technology and there are far more professional sports played here at a higher class
Yep.
than most places in the world, minus soccer.
Yep.
Soccer is elite.
That's always the
overseas.
caveat. That's always the
Where-
caveat, yeah.
Always.
And like
Now, you could-
cricket and those things. But like
yeah,
most
cricket's
running-
goofy baseball.
yeah, exactly. Well, baseball's goofy cricket if we're really getting down to it.
Yeah, if we're getting down to the basics. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do baseball games, in theory, before like real rules came into existence, the game like never ended?
No, I know. It was like I think they call it like stick ball or some shit like that, where it was just like,
could you imagine? And there was no foul or
wasn't it like
in or
when the
out?
sun goes down or whatever? You just kind of hit it and you just wait until the
Yeah.
sun goes down where you can't see it
Yeah.
anymore.
And then you picked up playing the next day. It's the never-ending game.
Yep.
Slow
I
game
love
as
that.
it is. Could you only imagine?
Yeah, it just never
Um,
ends until you hit slaughter
just-
rule.
Just never ends. But yeah, I think our elite development of athletes, power athletes in this country are it's there.
especially women. Because like
I'd agree.
men's swimming this year for us ain't no Phelps anymore. Ain't no Phelps
feel like-
anymore.
I feel like Phelps really started the swimming culture, I guess you could say, in the States.
Yeah, well, because we
More
had like the
people getting into it.
Lochte and the Phelps, and like obviously they were so good. No one really jumped out. I mean, we had U.S. pommel horse guy who was a fucking star this year. We talked about last week. But like, it's really like men's gymnastics didn't really take much, but like women's gymnastics, fucking sweeping. Katie
Always.
Ledecky, fucking god. Like the women just killed. Even the fucking bullshit women's basketball team that should have had Caitlin Clark on it still won. And thank God they won, because if they didn't
That
win
was a
gold,
close game, wasn't it? Wasn't it? that-
Yeah.
Who did they play?
Oh shoot. This feels
We
like
don't
it
even
was
know.
No, I watched the highlights, didn't watch the game. Oh shoot. Basketball. I'm not trying to look at Coco Gauff right now. They played France. Duh. It was France on France both ways. If they didn't win and didn't have Caitlin Clark, it would have been pandemonium. People would have gotten really mad at the women's game because Diana Taurasi was on that team. She played 0 minutes and she's like, I won my sixth like Olympic medal, and it's like, Jason Tatum or Halliburton not getting any minutes and still like being like, all right, well, we won. Even though both of them are admittedly like, we didn't do anything, but we got a gold medal, so that's pretty fucking cool. But
It is
regardless,
pretty sick.
women outpaced the men by a million this year in the Olympics, for sure.
Well, it's nice to see. I mean, we'll
Hell yeah.
we'll still take our crown.
100%.
We'll still
That's
take
an
our crown.
American medal,
But-
baby. Don't matter who got it.
The men's track and field was pretty fantastic on
100%.
the game side.
Yeah.
I will say that. So shot put, discus, really impressive.
Yeah, we got some beasts out there. And, it helps when there's not, like, some crazy alien-like Jamaican motherfucker running faster than anybody's ever
Either
ran
that-
ever.
Yeah, Usain Bolt retiring does help that.
Well, do you remember that year, too? There was, like, 3 Jamaican guys that were better than everybody else. It was fucking crazy. Like, there was a guy, also a Jamaican guy, and I don't know his name because Usain Bolt was around. He came in second every single sprint. It was just Usain was a little bit better, so that guy was just constantly silver medal, even though he was the second fastest man in the world at that
It's
time.
like, damn it, Usain.
That's some
Well,
bullshit.
Every country has their one, man. Usually that's the case.
Yep. We had Carl
Because
Lewis.
Yeah, Carl Lewis. Look at us.
Worst national anthem ever, by the way. We've talked about that before. Carl Lewis sang the national anthem in like the 90s, I think, at a basketball game. Oh, if you guys haven't watched that, go and watch it.
I mean, he's not known for singing. He's an Olympic medalist.
Yeah, but he was like, I'm going to sing the national anthem after the Olympics. He was a god, all this stuff. He sang it, started the song way too high. He got to a point where he's like, and the rocket's red. And he's like, hold on, I'm going to come back. The bar. And I was like, oh, no. Carl, no.
I've never seen this. Do we go live reaction? Let's go live reaction.
Okay, let me pull it up.
And then we'll talk about how egregiously
Yeah.
good this USA men's basketball team is.
Yeah.
National anthem.
All right, are we all ready? Here we go. Oh, say, can you see? And the Rockets, red flag. Uh-oh. I'll make up for it now. Oh, no. For the land of the free.
That was Sarge national anthem.
All right, cut it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my
He's so
goodness.
bad. Glad. Oh, the land of the free.
I love how Jordan's in full. I mean, they were playing the Suns? That's fantastic.
Yeah. It was like right before the game. It was just so bad. It's a real tarnished effect. But speaking of basketball, Steph Curry's a dog. For people that don't know, Mike and I had a real impassioned conversation about this on the day of the final round.
So
How do you want to hash this out here? What are we
all right,
talking?
let me give the backstory. So Vince
Yep.
was very present watching the final game of the Olympics,
Front
which
to
is
back,
France and the USA.
US.
I was like, yeah, if they don't win, it's an epic disappointment. Everybody
Totally agree.
expects them to win.
Totally.
For they are the best team in the planet. World
Yep.
class. We discussed this on the podcast last week.
Yep.
So when Vince texts me all excited that, the team expected to won by double digits, I'm like, okay, didn't we expect that? And he's over the moon like his favorite team
What
just
did
won
I
the
say?
championship.
What did I say? I said
Tell-
yes, we
tell-
did. I said yes, we did. I said
All
we
right.
expected to win, and they did. And the ending was electric.
And I just kept sending
Electric.
Vince all the Jason Tatum
No,
memes
you
about
said-
him copying
You said
that feeling.
after they won, you're like the whole men's team celebrating the gold. And then I said, what are they supposed to do? They won a gold medal. And you're like, they were supposed to. I'm like, I know. And they did. So they're celebrating. So that's a good thing. And you're like, well, they should have. And now they're acting like Tatum. And I'm like, yeah, Tatum won a championship. What do you mean?
That's more significant than the medal. All right. Now, I digress because they
Yes.
play a full season and the competition's elite.
I
Okay.
100% agree. It's not,
Now-
you can't put an NBA championship and Olympic gold medal in the same level in basketball. 100%.
Now,
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah.
So, I did some homework.
Yep.
And I came to a shocking realization. Not really
Yeah.
shocking. That if the 92 team
Yeah.
played today's team with today's rules, they'd get smoked.
Yeah, for sure they would. 100%.
I
Yeah.
did some homework on the statistics of the points per game and who was on the team and who they played against. And I don't even want to know what this U.S. team, meaning 2024, would do to those teams in the 90s.
Angola? Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Vince brought up a very good point in his argument that now makes more sense after doing homework. But I still think they overdid it. Either way,
Yeah.
there's far more talent across the world now. Basketball is a global sport. All of these things.
And it was because of that,
France,
too.
Serbia, and it is because of a time and place in the
92.
world.
92. It was like,
1992,
that's
32
what got
years
the-
ago.
yeah, it got people into it. So I was doing the same thing. So I was like, also, Mad Dog had the same take, and it was brutal. Everybody was roasting him on ESPN. It was kind of funny. So I was like, Mikey Mad Dog coming in crazy. But you ate crow, and I appreciate that. And that's huge, dude. I do think They overdid it. I'll give you that. They were doing like the biting the metal and shit. It's like you were supposed to do
You
this.
got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a hater of like, yeah, I'm proud of my country.
Right.
We get it, but we are also the gold standard, literally and figuratively, at the fucking sport. And we are trendsetters of the sport as a country because 32 years after the greatest team ever assembled was put together for the Olympics in basketball, we win another gold, but you now see how diversified the sport has become.
Well, and that's the thing
across the
too. So
planet.
I fun facted a little bit. Opening day 1991 NBA season, 23 international players from 18 countries. 2022-23, 120 players from 40 countries.
Vinny Stats?
Yeah, Vinny Stats coming
Statistic
in hot.
Vince, everybody. I love this.
The French team this year, 5 of the top 12 players in the NBA. So this is a ranking base. This is a players ranking pool. 12 is the roster size. 5 of those top 12 players are all international, and 92, every single person was American. France had 2 NBA All-Stars. 5 of the French players were all starters in the NBA either now or at some point. So obviously the talent's getting better. I think the biggest thing you can say too is that the talent's getting better everywhere. France is better than they were. Serbia is better than they were. But still, like, the talent's dispersed. We are a hotbed of all of the talent. So we obviously are going to win it. So that was my whole argument. They won it. They were supposed to win it. Steph Curry, 3. Kevin Durant, 2 free throws. Steph Curry, 3. Steph Curry, 3. And then the 3 over Victor Wembanyama was one of the most insane fucking shots I've ever seen in my life. Like, the picture of Wembanyama going 8.5 feet in the air and Steph Curry just shooting it literally directly up and it going in is, regardless of situation, fucking awesome. And seeing him in the Olympics is awesome because this is only Olympics.
Steph Curry, greatest 3 shooter of all time.
Greatest shooter and point guard of all time, and I won't argue it with anybody else anymore. He's done everything he needs to do to be the best point guard ever.
Okay.
Only argument you can make is assists, and you could say Stockton, but still, it's like his scoring, his threes, like his clutch time fucking scoring is beyond, man. It's beyond.
And he's been in the league now almost 15 years plus, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's
I think
going on a
exactly
long time.
because 2009 was his draft, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Crazy.
and that's the thing too is we've never seen him in an Olympics because he should have been in the COVID Olympics, but that was such a fallacy when that happened.
Yeah, in more than one way.
I don't really understand why he didn't do it in 2016 though. That doesn't make any sense.
Who knows?
Yeah, maybe he just opted out. But regardless,
Maybe he didn't want to play for Coach K because Coach K was coaching all those teams.
I
back
wouldn't
then.
want to. That guy stinks.
everybody
Speaking
did
of
not like
coach, though, Boston's got a problem with Steve Kerr.
Boston's got a problem with Steve Kerr? Why?
Jason Tatum didn't even sniff the floor in the last game. And if you remember, there was a game before that where he's like, oh, I meant to put him in, whoopsie daisies, it's a math thing, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Doesn't put him in, he's like, I'll fix my errors. And then finals comes in and Tatum doesn't see the floor again. And it's like, so
Maybe
a
he's
lot of
got some
Boston's
beef.
like, listen, I love America, but like, I don't know if
Well,
I wanted that team to win.
I mean, that team's like the Monstars, so clearly they went with the grouping he trusted the most, which
Yeah.
2 guys who played for him are on the court the most. Go figure.
Well,
And 2 of the elite.
2 of the guys are Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, which helps.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you got 5 guys. Then, of course, LeBron's going to be in there somewhere. I mean, you cannot
Old
deny
man.
LeBron being a tremendous at assisting.
The
those
gray
2.
hair LeBron is crazy. That man looked older in the last 2 weeks than he's ever looked in his career.
He's 40.
I know,
Something.
and as he should, but I was just like, oh, yeah, like this is the first time I've ever seen him look young, like old, because he's always
Elite
just looked
athlete,
young.
Vince. Elite
100%.
athlete.
And then the other thing you can argue, too, is, hey, Drew Holiday was on the court a lot, and he's also a Boston Celtic, so you kind of got to love that, too. It's just
Well,
Tatum
maybe he's got a groin with Tatum. Maybe he doesn't like him.
Well, and also
Maybe he
you-
doesn't like him stealing everybody's lines after he won a championship. Maybe
Let
he's
me
like, you're
put-
cringe.
That's true. I saw a meme that was like Vanessa Bryant after Kobe Bryant's phone goes off 15 times after they win the gold, and she just like throws it against the wall. It's just Tatum doing like, "We did it, Kobe. We did it." I have a hypothetical. today you get to choose. You're doing a tournament this week, and you get to choose. Do you want Kevin Durant or Jason Tatum?
In a world tournament?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm picking KD.
Yeah, me too.
'Cause
Would
he's
you
been
rather
there.
have LeBron or Jason Tatum?
Ooh.
You remember LeBron had a triple-double in the first 2 rounds.
If I'm assembling a team, LeBron.
Yeah. And this is my point. Those are the 2 spots that Tatum plays. Tatum's not playing over those 2 guys.
Well, it depends on. I bet he could have played the first half, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is he didn't give him any minutes. Like, he should have given him some minutes.
I mean,
It's
it's
just-
really nice for those guys that they showed up to the group project, didn't do shit, and got
That's
a
what
goal.
Tyrese Halliburton said, and I loved that shit. I'm like, he's self-aware.
I
and that's
just
good.
thought that everybody being so surprised that the U.S. won was just
Yeah.
very okay.
Let's think.
Yeah,
If you were surprised, you're
that's
wrong.
my whole angle.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my whole angle.
You're right. And and that was the thing too. The media was like, America did it. And it's like, yeah, we were supposed to. But still, like, take a picture of that Steph Curry shot. You're like, that's pretty fucking sick. That kind of stuff. Like, that's cool. The overreaction, not cool. Now, LeBron won the MVP.
He did.
Yeah, and I think that was a legacy play. I think it's fucking stupid. He was very good in the first couple games. The 2 most important games, Steph Curry was the most important player. I think Steph Curry should have gotten it for his Serbia performance and for his France performance. Easy.
Well, Steph, I think for the final game should have won it on a hands down level.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just like him taking us back, shooting 4 threes in a row, like that clutch factor shit. Like, that was funny too. KD was wide open. Whoever was on the other side, wide open. Steph's like, I got 3 guys on me. I'm just going to shoot it over his head and make it. Like, the balls, the tenacity and balls to do that is just fucking beautiful. Good Olympics. Overall, good Olympics. I had a good time.
From what I watched, Vince, it was a wonderful Olympics. Happy we won the gold count as we should.
Yep.
We are elite. Any other country who wants to talk shit about us and how fat we are all the time, go look
Suck
at the
my
gold medal count.
balls. Oh.
And with that, we got Vince. It's such an exciting time of year because we are getting into a time of year where we talk about 2 topics very well,
Football.
and that is the football. Now, the football begins on a college standpoint. Granted, if you count NFL preseason, it started. But week 0 is in a week and a half, Vince.
Yeah, man.
August 23rd. This is fantastic.
It's paramount. It's paramount
are-
for us.
By the time you listen to this podcast, we got like 8 days, people.
Mm-hmm.
We have 8 days before real football is back that matters. And granted, week 0, you're not getting great games. But just
But
the
you're getting
fact
games. It's a warm-up, dude.
that you get to wake up on a Saturday and know what you're doing. The wife can just say, hey, we're going to go do this today. Sorry, babe. The FSC Southwest is playing Bama. I'm watching it. I don't care. All right? I got some coffee going. I don't care if they're warm-up games. Right? I don't care if the Citadel is playing OU. I'm watching.
Was that an NCAA football video game reference with the FCS Southwest?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering.
100%.
Yeah. Dude,
I am watching these gear up, these tune-up games for these elite football teams because that's exactly
at
what
the
they are.
least, that's background noise, baby. And I'm going to check in and make sure I know how to watch football still, because that's really what that's for. Reminding you how to watch football, just as we did last weekend, seeing 1-2 drives with our guy, which we'll get to later. Now, the AP poll is out, Mike. The ranking of the teams. Georgia, number 1, just like the coaches poll last week. Yep.
Go figure.
Ohio State, number 2. Some would argue that's too high. Some of those would be me. Number 3, Oregon. Number 4, Texas. Quinn Ewers here for 1 more year. And number 5, newly coached Alabama. Thoughts? Did they get it?
I personally, I don't know how Bama isn't above Oregon.
Even new coach.
I don't understand Dylan Gabriel. I know you got all the NIL money anybody could want, but I don't understand everybody being so high on Dylan Gabriel. What has he done?
High flying 1 year older.
UCF and OU.
Yeah.
And it's not like he took OU to anything special.
They were probably a little better than people thought they were going to be last year, right?
He didn't win. You didn't even win him a Big 12 championship.
Yeah, but yeah.
So how are you going to?
That's
when
because he was in
OU
the Big
loses
12.
to
He should have
Kansas
been in the
State-
SEC. He would have won that.
Well, now he's in the Big 10. So you think like this is going to make more sense? I don't get that. Ohio State overvalued. Michigan 9. Yeah, the sanctions coming down for them. It's probably going to be some backtracking of years.
Yeah.
LSU, I think they're going to be really good this year,
New
regardless
quarterback.
of the loss of Jaden Dent. I think they're going to be good. Now, there's a team, I understand Clemson, Utah being rated that high. I just think it's the return of Cam Rising.
And
that
people
puts
love
Utah.
that defense. They're horny over that defense, dude.
Well, they're very well coached.
Yeah.
This top 25 for me, you should check it out for yourself. Some things I agree with. I don't know.
I got no notes.
I don't know how the University of Arizona is that at 21. That's egregious.
They were chippy last year. I don't think they're staying
And they lost
there.
their coach.
Yeah. That's my biggest. It's like, Iowa makes sense at 25. There's just like a lot of teams that like these are going to flip-flop and change in the first 3 weeks like 5 times. Like top 10
And
you'll
how
probably see.
How has Texas A&M being the dog shit program they've been?
I will never
now,
know.
Jimbo Fisher.
I'll
hit
never
the
know.
top 20.
I'll never ever get it. They're always around there based on purely hype. You might know what they are. The Bears with the new starting quarterback. Everybody overhypes them and they end up being shit. Except for this year. Way different. But that's what they are. They're essentially a team that people want to be good because their talent is good, but somehow they just get fucked every single time. And they're going to do it again because they're A&M. Also,
Now,
they're 4 spots above USC this year, Mike. We got to talk about that. A&M.
Okay, Miller Moss is unproven.
Yeah.
You still have not been able to put a defense on the field worth of shit. It's going to be difficult to – I'm surprised, to be honest with you, that they're ranked above – well, no.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that, they're not either 24 or 25. I don't know if they necessarily deserve it, but they need to protect their quarterback. They have some talent. Zachariah Branch is arguably maybe the best wide receiving talent in the Big Ten right now. That you could, it's very arguable.
He's
but
a,
you could
he's
say
a
that.
monster.
He's an absolute freak.
Now,
I
cold
like the
games,
Miller Moss pick.
I'm thinking UCLA, USC, traveling to wherever, because this is one big conference now. They're not doing, Big Ten East, Big Ten West, or whatever they were doing before. They're just going to go one big conference on it. USC going to Nebraska is one of the most weird shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, what are they going to do midwinter in Nebraska? And you send a UCLA or a USC out there. Like, is this the Miami Dolphins effect when they have to play against snow teams? Like, is that going to affect them?
Vince, I don't believe they really have a cold game on their schedule.
They don't. Okay. Like all their home games are against the cold teams?
It's kind of funny, or they're early in the year.
Okay.
Wisconsin and, well, no, you have Wisconsin at home. You
Okay.
have Michigan at Michigan, but it's in September.
Yeah, that's warm.
You have Utah State. Okay. You have Utah State at home.
Yeah.
The road games for them aren't looking crazy. You got
Because I'm just waiting.
You get Notre Dame last game of the year. Shout out.
Is that at home or is that in South Bend?
That is in Cali.
Yeah, I think because they played South Bend last year.
USC gets Nebraska. The only cold game on their schedule, which they would have played either way.
Yeah.
You have to remember the Pacific Northwest gets very cold.
Yeah, Washington gets cold.
So they have Washington on the 2nd of November.
You hear
So that
who's
could be
at
a cold game.
Washington right now? You hear who's mulling around the campus?
Who?
A man by the name of William Belichick.
Well, his son's a defensive
know.
coordinator there.
And he's hanging out at practices. Hey, you might be getting a defensive juggernaut going on up there in Washington.
Well, I think it's how cool is that for those kids that Bill's just
Badass.
hanging around, just going
Yeah,
there, right?
and maybe he can find another co-ed to date since he's obviously into younger ladies.
I mean, can you blame the guy? He's
Little
got to be a
urban.
poster child for Blue Chew.
Little Herb and Meyer action for our boy Billy up there in the Northwest.
Well, not that much of a scumbag, though.
Who knows? You don't know what he does.
I mean, most of these guys in professional sports are. But speaking of scumbags, so everybody's overhyping Colorado as always.
Yeah, dude. I'm so sick of it. I'm so fucking sick of it. Also, by the way, Marcus Freeman's led Golden Domers officially 7th in the nation. Thank you. Here we go. Riley Leonard season, baby.
Riley, okay. What's the hype around Riley Leonard? Could somebody
mean?
explain it to me? He's just not that good.
Good year last year. He was at a basketball school. He moves over, comes to a team that already has a solid defense. Couple years under the belt of Marcus Freeman now. South Bend, great tradition, good NIL money, decent receivers this year. Always going to have a tight end. I don't really understand why they wouldn't be top 10.
All right, let's
Duke
talk
was
about
better
Notre
than they're
Dame's
supposed to
schedule.
be. Okay,
Let's talk about Notre Dame's schedule then, shall we?
sure. Yeah.
Let's see their toughest game on calendar this
Any
year.
of them in conference?
Ready?
Yeah.
Game 1, you get Texas A&M. Okay, that'll
Ranked
actually
team.
be good. I like that. Then you get NIU,
Tough game, you know.
Purdue,
Yep, Big Ten.
Miami of Ohio,
Yep. It is what it is.
Louisville,
Could be ranked this year.
Stanford,
Smart.
Georgia Tech,
Calvin Johnson.
Navy.
They're going to war, dude. Like, what do you mean?
You literally, Vince, okay, here are your biggest games of the season.
You stopped
And-
before Florida State. What do you mean?
Okay, Florida State, then
10th in the
Virginia,
nation.
then Army, final game of the year, USC.
USC. Yep.
This schedule is pathetic.
You win
If
them
you
all.
play-
you go to the playoffs.
Vince, you play 2 ranked teams all year.
That's why they make the college football playoffs, because the proof's in the pudding at the end of the year.
No, this
Yeah.
is so overranked hype nonsense that
What
I
do you
can't even.
mean?
This
Dude, they're
strength
playing.
of schedule, if we were going to plug this in on NCAA 25, this
Yeah.
strength of schedule is at least a C minus.
Oh, easy. Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying it's hard. I'm just saying, they go in there, they get 3 ranked games. Maybe Louisville comes around and gets ranked by the time they end up playing them. You get 4 ranked games. They win them all out and they go to the playoff. Then anything can happen.
Stories old as time. Every Golden Domer fan out here preaching about how, we're going
You
to
take
be
what
ranked
you
7th.
got. What do you want me
play
to do?
Nobodies all year
You
that
take
are
what
the
you get.
bottom tier of every other division in the sport.
Yeah, not true.
Meanwhile, USC
USC.
is playing how many Big Ten teams this year? A, because they're in the Big Ten.
Right.
But, I mean, the level of talent is far greater at those schools than Army, Navy.
No
You
one's
play Army
arguing
and
that.
Navy in the same year?
Yeah, dude, it's
You
the
guys
Golden
really
Dome
love the
off,
arm-
dude. We love the
Golden
armed
Dome
forces.
off?
We love the armed forces. We want to support our troops, and we want to play them in a good game. I don't really understand what the problem with that is. You're taking
Yeah.
that South Bend team out to
I
Army,
just
out
really
to
hope-
Navy.
I really hope just to it'd be so delicious. Just have like one of those games either between Army and Navy that you guys just shit the bed and completely
It's
lose
happened.
because you can't keep up with the option. Or
See,
some
I
of
would
those goofy
never,
gadget plays
ever
they run.
I would never wish ill will against your team. I never do that. Yeah, go back on the tapes. You take it offensively. I'm not doing it. I'm just saying, hey, why can't USC tackle? And you're like, fuck you. And I'm like, well, they can't. Like,
No,
it's a real question.
I always recognize that the team can't tackle. I've never defended the defense, but you were out here talking so much shit last year in the great
No.
state of Southern California of a wonderful quarterback who now plays for
No.
a grouping.
I always
of
was a
team
Caleb
that
Williams
starts
fan.
with a Chicago and ends in an O, and that
I
is
always loved
the
him.
Bears. talked mad shit about a guy that now you're going to root for every Sunday. So joke's on anybody. It's on you. But let's
Shit
get back to
changes,
this Colorado
baby.
tape.
Shit changes, baby. Yeah, Colorado hype train yet again. Dion, Warren Sapp saying that their fucking line is just a bunch of bullets. Just pick which gun you want to get shot with is what he said. Colorado went 1-8 in conference last year and 4-8 overall. Dion talks about the media, says doesn't like the way that people are reporting them, essentially wants media pulled from their practices because they're not sucking his schnoz like they did last year. Brandishing weapons, Mike, in the locker room?
So there is a report that has recently come out from The Athletic.
John Moran
Dion
style?
Yeah.
Gilbert
So
Arenas,
basically,
part 2?
There's a lot of NIL money floating around this campus. There's a lot of guys who were brought in as transfers this year to protect Shedeur Sanders. But a lot of them are making money at a very young age. And a lot of the times they come from families where, they never had a lot of money. So, needless to say, some dumb shit's going to happen. Well, there are reports that the locker room's completely out of control, that the players just tolerate each other, that they're not necessarily coming together as a program. A lot of people do believe that this hype surrounding this team and this program this season is just that, overhyped.
Flash,
guys are fighting in the locker rooms due to gambling debts. There's even occurrences that people have reported on different players brandishing weapons in the locker room in regard to those gambling debts. So it's
are we talking like shimtars, like swords?
Like get the cat.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure they weren't pulling out like old Victorian swords because that'd be fucking sick.
Well, what do you think they got? Muskets? It's just like,
yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up after I'm done refilling this. Anybody got my
packing this gunpowder?
Anybody got my gunpowder?
Can we? Vince just hawked toot for all you.
Yeah, I did. I hawked toot right on that.
Can we think about that though for a second? Total squirrel moment. That's how fighting in the Army used to be done. And like you packed a musket, they lined up, and like
you get
just
in a line, right? Fucking line.
Stupid. There was a drummer,
right?
And then a guy by the name of George Washington, one fateful Christmas day, decided fuck him. Jesus' birthday, 33rd.
He hopped on the Potomac with his big wooden teeth, and was just like, charge! And then they're like, here we go!
The Redcoats weren't expecting it. But speaking of which, Dion wasn't expecting this. So a lot of this, of him lashing out against the media, is due to this article coming out. And he's trying to hide it from the rest of the world, and I believe his program. Even though he does come off in all of his social media posts as a hard ass, we're going to respect women, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that.
No, he doesn't,
and he's clearly
he's posting it on fucking social media.
Right.
And
these guys are doing, and there's numerous reports of cars being broken into, players being disrespectful on campus.
Like, dude, I don't even know any of that. But at the end,
professors writing letters to Dion about how players are being insubordinate in class.
Well, and this is what I'm at the end of the day, and this is kind of where I'm thinking. And obviously, this is just an opinion, but Deion Sanders has not had to experience a lot of negative media in 20 years. When's the last time anybody said anything bad about Deion Sanders? It was like style god, Hall of Famer, two-sport athlete. Man could do it all. He's the man. He's nice to everybody. He's still cool when he gets older. He does ESPN. Everybody thinks he's funny. Joins Barstool Sports. Everybody thinks he's funny. This is the first time where it's like, hey, proof's in the pudding now. Like, he joins Jackson State. Jackson State goes undefeated. Gets a top Travis Hunter to come in there. Shedeur's playing well. Shedeur gets a 96 overall on NCAA for some dumb fucking reason. All this shit is just positive. I don't know if he knows how to react to negative shit. Because this is going to happen.
I think it's going to be fun to watch.
I do too.
Because like Paul Feinbaum, the SEC analyst.
Yeah. He thinks they suck.
last year he was riding the D heavy. And Deion Sanders is going to make them of this and make them of that. Now he's like, no. But I believe it's all pandering. It's all what 100%. The media does when they want a new villain. And he's an easy target because he doesn't shut the fuck up.
I think they should be villains because they're getting over-interviewed. They're getting overshown. Everybody loves Colorado. They're getting overrated, and they haven't done anything. They went 3-0 last year against 3 shit teams, lose to Colorado State, and essentially lost out for the rest of the year. They won one more game after that because they played in conference after that.
Well, they had one game against USC where there was just a shootout, and but it's against the USC defense that's so porous anyways. You're not surprised they put up 40.
And that's what I'm saying, too. If you have 5 wins on the season and your only win is USC, you're also not going to, like, by all intents and purposes, that's not a great showing in a year. Like, there is no reason anybody should think positively about them until they play positively. I don't understand. There's no other way to prove it. They haven't been good in fucking 15 years.
They haven't been good since like Cordell Stewart, dude.
Yeah.
It's been a long
1990
time.
was their last championship.
Almost 30 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. It's been a
Like,
really long time.
They don't deserve anything because they haven't done anything. And that's as clear as day. I don't understand why else.
They're in a legit conference now. They're in the Big 12.
Right.
It's going to be cool to watch them play a team like an OU, see how they stack up. It's going to be actually neat to see them play real competition. Kansas State, really good programs year over year that actually put real talent out on the field and that really recruit, and especially in their pipeline. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Well, if they play well, too, then they deserve the credit. I just don't know why this is happening where it's like, oh, my God, why is everybody being so mean to us? It's like, dude, you guys aren't good. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, it's the ego surrounding him between his kids, Shador.
And that's the thing. He needs to shut the
and
fuck up a little bit, too, because Shador's just like, I'm the man. You all suck. I'm like, yeah, I understand that level of confidence, but, like, you also haven't done shit either. You dominated at Jackson State, an HBCU school. Like,
I think he's a talented kid.
He
I just
is.
think that he doesn't have the tools to protect him in a real game.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see this year if he has a line that's worthwhile. So,
yeah. And if they are good and he plays well, nice.
Week 0.
Then
week 0, baby. I'm jacked, man. Like I said, I'm ready for it. So unless you live under a rock, you'd also know that it is Hard Knocks season.
Woohoo!
The training camp version, which they call it. And it's the Bears, and we're excited.
Bears.
And 2 episodes deep, and I was like iffy on it, and now I'm so jacked.
Yeah, man. It's kind of impossible not to be. Kind of impossible not to be. I'm still scared. I don't think you can not be scared a little bit as a Bears fan. It's like everything points to positive. Everybody's happy. Everybody celebrates. Caleb seems like he's more of a normal human in episode 2 than episode 1, where you're like, okay, pump the brakes is how I kind of felt. I just don't want to see it go bad again, dude. I've been hurt too many times.
All right. Overall thoughts on the show. You're not getting
great.
much of substance. Yeah.
I love it.
But you're not getting much substance.
No.
Conversations that are being had are very elementary.
Saban and Eberflus, your thoughts?
Oh, Saban. Okay, so Nick Saban in episode 1. Absolutely. That guy can make me want to run through a brick wall.
Did that feel like, hey, say a couple of these things to him, and Eberflus acts like you're like listening, like this is the first time he's ever told you something. You know? It kind of felt a little movie magic to me, but it could have just been like hyper analyzing.
The producers 1,000% sat them down and said, "Start talking ball."
Yeah, he's like, "Here's a notepad, write some stuff down, Eberflus." It's like if they've had this conversation, they've had this conversation already. You know?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Nick Saban, once again, could potentially make me run through a brick wall.
Yeah.
The guy's a very motivating human. Makes a lot of sense, hence his track record. And it's cool that you do see Matt Eberflus did play for Nick Saban at Toledo.
Hot boy, Matt Eberflus.
Hot. I mean, hey, supposedly it was his wife's decision. So
yeah,
she's so good.
Kelly Eberflus.
Like I said,
fun fact, though, Mike, I've gotten my hair cut by that man.
By what guy?
By the guy that cut his hair, Funk's.
Yeah.
I went down to Funk's my 20th birthday. My buddy Michael, that I do my other podcast with, he brought me there. I got my hair cut by Funk, had a nice little whiskey, left. Not a great haircut for me, mostly my fault. But I did get my haircut by the same guy as the Bears head coach.
Why was it your fault?
Because the time I cut it before, I cut it wrong. It was too long, like on the side, like it was too short on top, too long on the sides or whatever. It was fucked up. So I needed them to bring it all down a lot so I can regrow it out. So it ended up coming out and I looked like a cop. It wasn't great. It wasn't the best haircut I've ever had.
Vinny's a good crop.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the show.
Yeah.
I do believe that it's a lot of fluff and it's on purpose and it's what the Bears allow to be released.
Yeah.
Even like the
Ice cream
in-practice-
museum and yeah.
Yeah, like who gives a shit? I would have much
It's
rather
cute.
seen like DJ Moore go and fly a kite than go take his kids to an ice cream museum.
It was
Granted,
like
his kids
cute.
are
It's for
adorable.
the ladies. You know, we're trying to see there and be like, are they gonna break down the X's and O's? It's like, no, it's a dramatic
Fine, yeah.
HBO documentary. if we're being
I just
clear.
want more. I want more content on the team itself.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I want
That's
the stuff you're interested in.
what we
And the
get Sundays,
conversation,
right?
yeah, but the conversations that are like going through like Eberflus and Caleb on the practice field, it's like, oh, just make sure you're hitting your second and third progressions. Okay, Dad.
Yeah.
Like, there's of nothing that like, there's no fights in practice. Come on,
Maybe not anymore. I mean, I don't know.
bro. It's like
It
the
is-
Care Bears training camp.
It is big happy family energy for sure. Yeah.
It's
But
Care Bears
also,
energy.
they do seem conducive the way they're playing on the field and all that stuff. They do seem conducive. Obviously, they're hiding a lot of shit. They haven't been in the locker room besides like two different like post games, like good job everybody, and then they go away. Like all the rest of the shit's happening in the locker room, and the Bears are like, get the fuck out of here. We need to talk about real shit now. Like I truly think that's kind of how it's going. Like the DJ Moore contract thing, like why did they pull him in the middle of practice? They didn't agree on that fucking contract in the middle of practice. It was just done for movie magic, like shit like that, where it's like they had
Oh,
this
go
agreed
get
upon
him.
2 days.
Go
Yeah.
get him right now.
Go get DJ. He's like, you excited? And it was like going to the principal's office or some shit. It was,
Oh, why am I here? Oh, movie magic. Sign the
and
contract.
that is what it is. That is what it is at the end of the day. And I think it's fun and it's lovely and yada yada yada. What we're looking for is what we're gonna end up getting on Sundays, if we're being fucking honest.
Conspiracy Mike thinking that
Here
the
we go.
Bears are giving so little to these producers at HBO, so they never get asked to do this again. That's
Pro-
my opinion.
And Urlacher was on, so I listened to Peter Schrager. Peter Schrager, he does like Good Morning Football, if you've ever seen that show, but he does the Hard Knocks podcast, and he invites guys on from Bears past on it. Urlacher came on. He's like, I can't believe they're fucking doing it in the first place because everything they do, they keep tucked. He's like, so I'm surprised they're doing it in the first place. So I wouldn't be surprised. It's like you get 5 minutes of locker time, get your shots and leave. Like you get 5 minutes of this, you can come in here and do this. Like, they'll do all that stuff. Caleb doing John Legend was so funny to me because that's my karaoke song. I sing that song at karaoke.
Oh, you do?
And I
You
was
go,
like-
you go Earl Sweatshirt with it.
No, I go John Legend.
Well, just never mind. Continue.
Okay, I didn't even get it. Yeah. I'm happy I'm better than him at something. I was like, okay, I got, he spends hours fucking playing football. I spend hours learning how to sing, so I better be better than him.
The British guy though won. The guy from British Columbia or Canada. The guy from Canada who sang
Theo.
the national anthem.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Or no, God Bless the USA, and he had the fucking
Awesome.
Speedo on.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Like, that shit's fun. I think it's all fun. Obviously, and I don't think we've ever really gotten this from Hard Knocks. We're not getting anything like Aaron Rodgers last year. They didn't give him shit.
Why the 15 minutes though? They did 15 minutes of the show documenting like two guys who might make the team, Velus Jones and then some dude from Howard.
Dude. Okay, I thought the running back from Howard was kind of cool. Was like whole coach relationship, whatever. Velus Jones.
Sucks.
We're so, as a collective, as a Bears fan, we're so fucking over this guy. And you show him in practice and he fumbles and they're like, you can't be doing that. I'm like, he has been fucking doing that. He dropped the kick return and it's like new kick return rules. I'm like, no, Velus Jones drops the ball. That's his whole thing. He's been doing it since the day he came into the NFL. Every pass that's thrown to him, he drops. He drops the ball. Like, That's his
He
thing.
dropped a kickoff return in last Saturday's game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And it was like, hey, new kickoff rules. Like, it's hard to go get the ball. I'm like, even if he was right under it, he would have fucking dropped it. That's what he does.
What's rule number 1 of kick returning, Vince?
Catch the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
sick.
pretty simple.
It's pretty sick. No, I do believe that this is definitely something that he's not going to be on the team. Now, I just want more Caleb
I want to see
content.
Howard guy make it. I want to see number 33. I want to see that fucking dude make it.
That was their goal. Now, let's
Yeah.
talk real. If you're coming into this season, of course, Hard Knocks helps. But
Yeah.
what are some players, due to the documentation of the training camp that they're spitting out every week?
Yep.
What's got you excited? What's got you not so excited? What are you feeling?
I am excited for, I don't know if it's tied to Hard Knocks or not, but obviously the Jalen Johnson fucking hate train that the players have for some reason, not putting him in the top 100. Jalen Johnson's a shutdown corner, top 5 in the league, maybe top 3. Like, you can't really argue that these fucking days. He's been absolute nails for years. They haven't done a lot on the linebacking core, and I'm surprised because that is a staple of Chicago Bears football. Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, like, you have guys that you'd think they'd be touching on. They probably will in the coming weeks. Caleb's obviously what everybody wants to know. The receivers, they've talked about a shit ton. They haven't talked about DeAndre Swift a time yet. The only thing that they did was show that little dump pass, and that's it. So DeAndre Swift,
That dump pass was
cool.
Okay, let's get into the
Yeah.
recap of Saturday's game.
Yep.
It just looked different.
Professional.
That's all I got. The Bears looked different. It didn't look like you were going into a game with a guy who didn't know what he was doing or didn't know how to handle himself in the situation. The lights were bright, but he'd been there.
Yeah.
He played in big games. He wasn't nervous. He was locked in. This guy seems to carry himself in a way that I've never seen a Bears quarterback do so.
I
Mitch
agree.
Trubisky's out there looking still lost.
Yeah.
You look at Justin Fields fumbling, 3 snaps or 2 snaps and
Yeah.
barely getting in and off the field, doing the same shit he
you
was doing
remember
in
what
Chicago.
we were talking about when Fields was in, and we were like, oh, he's so fast. You could see the talent.
You look at it, but you had to understand that, sure, the Bears could have kept him and been on
I'm
the
just
roster.
saying, like, this.
Hold on.
We're going to spin it positively, Mike. We're going to do that. We've done this before. He is good.
Caleb,
he played
you've-
well. He looked good.
He has
If
a
something
ceiling.
happens and we get another guy and it's like, well, remember Caleb Williams was a little too fucking big for his britches coming in. We're going to do the same fucking thing. We always do this, dude.
I'm not
I'm scared.
I'm
I'm
not
scared. I'm
riding.
scared.
Hold on. I'm not
scared.
riding the jock that hard because he still did some things. They didn't score 1 touchdown.
Yeah, right.
So there's that. JJ McCarthy threw for 2 touchdowns.
And he had a
We'll
broken
get into
fucking yeah.
He didn't break anything. It's
I know.
precautionary.
Yeah,
Now,
I know.
I give him a B-, maybe a
Yeah.
C+.
Yeah.
He did good. It looked better than anything we've seen. He carried
In
himself well on the
control.
field and off the field.
He
You
hit
like
all of
that.
his targets. Yeah, like he's good.
Seems to be a student of the game. Now, real takes. Offensive line looks legit. I like the depth.
They're all injured though. I'm
But
scared.
we have depth, which is good,
Yeah, that's new.
right?
We got Nate
So little
Davis.
depth.
He's good.
Nate Davis, he's got to start now. The Bears were like, okay, no more of this day to day. You're week to week now.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Yeah, as he should. I mean, there's other guys trying to get it. I know. I am so shell shocked. It's like living in a place that always gets bombed. I just think another bomb's coming, and I'm waiting for that to happen. It's so like camaraderie high and happy and good.
It's a little
And-
too happy, right?
And I feel like we don't deserve this,
Too-
and it shouldn't be this way.
We're like the battered woman that got
Yeah.
out of a terrible.
Why is he
divorce.
being so nice to me? Why did he pay for everything?
He
I don't
doesn't
deserve
like me.
flowers. I didn't do anything to
Right.
him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's going to take care of me before he takes care of himself? That's crazy. It's like, I thought you were just going to come in here, abuse me for an hour, and then leave without giving me anything. Like, that's what I want. I don't know.
I mean, hey, Vince, we've been used to hamburger helper. Looks like we may be
That's what
on
I'm
our way
saying.
to some filet mignon.
Some motherfucker
You
just
know what
bought
I'm
us
saying?
Wagyu, and we're like, what do we do with this? Put it in the
Whoa.
freezer? Am I supposed to freeze this?
Am I
Yeah,
supposed to freeze this? Bake it?
All right, another thing. Jonathan Owens watching Simone Biles on TV was a pre-taped thing, and I'm sure of it.
Had to be.
Had to be. And then he was clapping, and I'm like, he already. Now him going to Paris, whole different thing. I thought that was cool. Some of the online discourse was, he should be in fucking training camp. Like, why is he there? I have basically no issue with this. If your fucking wife is the greatest female athlete in America at the current time, I'm kind of cool with it. He's a veteran. He's not a rookie. I'm cool with it. But I can see both
He's
sides.
new to the team.
Yeah, right.
In a way, I kind of agree with the fact that, yeah,
I can
get
see
your
both
wife's-
sides. Yeah.
You're getting paid a lot of money to play a fucking child's game.
Yep.
He went for like a week and then went back. So, I don't know.
Honestly, dude, I think if it was like women's steeplechase, then I would have been like, why the fuck is he not there? But it's Simone Biles.
Okay, so for a perfect example, Simone Biles, she's a major celebrity, has been in the U.S. now for probably a decade or
Oh,
so.
yeah.
And that's the reason. I mean, that's only, if to
100%.
your point, if she was, in breakdancing, nobody
Yeah,
would
if she
give
was
a shit.
Raygun, bro. Yeah, no
You
fucking
think it would
shot.
be like, his girlfriend is the American representative for breakdancing in the Olympics. Are you kidding? Chicago fans would be like, get your ass in camp.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Now, Simone Biles climbing that fucking rope, though. Crazy.
Oh,
Holy
back to Hard Knocks.
shit.
Yes, that
What a
woman's
legend.
elite. She's
Yeah.
a freak of nature.
I know.
Yes.
It's like there's just things you
Don't
see and
piss
you're like,
her
oh
off.
yeah. Yeah,
I
no
mean,
shot. He was
com-
like, I'm gonna smoke you, and then she doesn't. It's like, no, you're not. There's no fucking way. You don't have that ability. You're an athlete. She's an athlete too, buddy. For sure.
Now, yeah, I'm interested to see the rest of camp. To your point, I'd like to see some highlight on the linebacking core because some of those guys are actually from Chicago. They've documented Cole
TJ.
Kmet a little bit.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about the sheer size of that fucking guy?
He's so big. I saw a tight end
He's
picture today.
huge.
He's so big. He's so much bigger than everybody.
Like, his muscles have muscles. It's insane. The man's
Now,
a
if
giant.
If he starts dropping fucking passes, then I might have to hate
Which
on my
he did.
guy, even though he went to my fucking favorite fucking football team, or he was on there and then he
He
moved
also
to the next
grew
one.
up in Arlington Heights. He's hometown.
Yeah, there's
Now,
no reason why I wouldn't be obsessed with this man, but just hold on to the fucking ball because you're going to be getting balls pretty accurate this year.
DJ Moore dropped a ball on Saturday.
Yep.
So did Cole Kmet. Now, they look to be favorite targets, though, which is exciting.
Yep.
Cole Kmet did drop a pass on the sideline that would have been a first down. Bad. But Caleb did find him on the hash. Beautiful dart
Best
on the
throw.
run.
Yeah,
3rd
best
and
throw.
12. Man, impressive. Because usually 3rd and 12, we're just like, yep, this is it.
Well,
You know what I also
screen pass, dump it off to the halfback, and hope for the best. That's
you know what I also enjoyed? Only one screen pass the entire drive. That was it.
Yeah,
And
if
it
Shane
actually was
Waldron's
plus
taking his
yards.
fucking notes and he moves the ball down the field, again, all of it seems so good. There's no way this is going to be positive. There's no way. They're too positive.
One person I'm excited to document for the rest of this training camp now, Austin Booker.
Yeah.
Kansas defensive
Stud.
end, edge rusher.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, overreaction podcast. He was also going up against third stringers.
Right.
So let's pump the brakes a little
But
bit.
he smells the ball and he gets the ball. Like, that's what he does.
Here's a good argument. Do the Bears still need to go out and see if they can find themselves a edge rusher?
Well, Eberflus did say on CBS that they're looking. On accident, he said that.
It was kind of funny. He caught himself. He's like,
Yeah. One
I'm
problem
good.
is one of them are off the board. A man by the name of Matthew Judon gets traded to the Falcons right before we start recording today for a 3rd-round pick. He's no longer available. It's getting close to the season here, Mike. Like, it's going to get harder to find a guy like that can get used to the system. But if there's a position that can, it's probably defensive end. So I wouldn't be against it, but fuck it. Let Austin Booker keep running. Like, Yannick Ngakoue still available, like things like that. Like,
I think the Bears aren't going to. I mean, who knows? I think this may help them try and trade for
Yeah.
a Hassan, even though the Jets have come out and said no. But
yeah, let's
never-
talk about that. I don't understand what the fuck the Jets are doing. It doesn't make any
didn't they trade for him
sense.
to pay him, and then now they're
This
like,
is-
no.
It is the same playbook as Montez Sweat from the Commanders last year. Bears traded for him. Bears signed him. People were like, why did they sign him for so much? Because they traded for him, and they were going to sign him. That was naturally what was going to happen. So the Jets trade for Hassan Reddick. They're like, well, they're going to sign him. Guess what? Not going to sign him. Hassan Reddick said, hey, dudes, I got traded so I would get signed. Why the fuck didn't you sign me? And he's like requesting a trade. And the Jets was like, we have your contract. We're not required to trade you. Both of them are right. They're not required to trade them. The right package, they're going to trade him for sure because he's just a cancer right now.
Well, either that or he's not showing up.
Well,
Now,
he is showing up because he wants to get paid because
Okay.
his contract's still fucking good.
Matthew Judon,
Yeah.
top 10 in sack leaders over the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Hassan Riddick, top 5.
Right. On a juiced
And
Eagles defense where he's not getting doubled as much. I will say that.
Well, what's he worth, in your opinion? So Judon goes for a third. What does Hassan Riddick go
Judon's
for?
what, 31?
Riddick's 27 or 28, correct.
29 for Hassan Reddick. Second rounder? He's probably similar value to Montez Sweat now. You know?
So is he worth the second round pick that the Bears do have to give up for that?
I mean, they do it every year. You might as well do it again.
But does that make them a contender to win the division if you have a Hassan Reddick matched up alongside Montez Sweat?
I mean, I think they already are a contender to win the division. I don't think it's likely, but I think they're going to contend.
With the highest paid quarterback in the division? In
The
the
Bears?
in the entire league. No. I'm talking about in the division, the highest paid quarterback just got signed for a
Right.
little team by the name of the Packers.
Yes, right.
Really?
Goff's got a crazy contract too. And I'm saying the Bears have a chance to make it, to compete, not to win. They're likely going to come in third in the division, but they will be competing. That's kind of what I'm saying.
So
No, I
does
don't think a
Hassan
defensive
Riddick
end
make
changes it.
them?
No.
You don't.
I don't think it's going
Okay.
to win them the division. No shot. I don't think that's that big of a difference maker. I think it could go from third to second, though. I think you could overtake the Packers if they're second. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's
I'm in
possible.
firm belief that the Packers win this division.
Over the Lions?
Yeah.
Why?
They rectify the defense, sign Josh Jacobs, re-sign their quarterback to big money. Last year, they were almost in the NFC Championship game.
But who was?
Get it, the Lions were, but what I'm saying, they were almost in that game. They gave that game away against
Yeah.
the Niners.
That was,
And it was
yeah,
almost an NFC North showdown, which would have been insane.
that would have been horrifying.
Now,
That's
the
worst
Niners-
case scenario.
To the point, Brandon Ayuk deal could be on the table for Brandon Ayuk. to
Honestly,
go to
shut the
Pittsburgh.
fuck up at this point.
He's not going anywhere. We've
No.
said this from the jump. He's not going anywhere.
And I learned today Brandon Ayuk's agent and John Lynch are boys. John Lynch went to his fucking wedding. Like, this guy.
It's all noise. They're going to get a deal done. They're like, listen, we have a deal on the table for you, but do you really want to live in Pittsburgh? I mean, come on.
Well, they had it for the Patriots, and he's like, I'm not fucking going there. It's like, well, beggars
He
and
doesn't want to
choosers,
go to
right?
the Midwest. He doesn't want to go to the Northeast. All right, just stay where you are.
Yeah.
Stay in the great sunshine, the beautiful weather every day. Shitty
Beggars
tax
can't be
bracket,
choosers, man.
whatever.
Beggars can't be choosers. Yeah, you'll get a better one in PA, won't you?
Yeah,
Probably
little,
not
but nothing
that much
crazy.
better.
Yeah, it's not that much better.
Yeah.
In my eyes, for me, I think he stays. There's no doubt about it. They get the deal done.
Sure. They did the same shit with Debo.
I don't know. I do believe that the Packers have a real clean path to win the division this year.
Unfortunately, I think you're probably right, but the Lions haven't gotten any worse, and the Lions beat a lot of fucking teams last year. And the Packers, they're tying up their money. If they're going to win, it better be now. Like,
Well, and all their coordinators are back in Detroit, and they
Yeah.
just signed Amon-Ra and all these things. Okay. Bears are better. The NFC North went from easily one of the worst divisions in all of football 2.5 years ago to now arguably one of the best.
Yeah. I mean,
No.
to speak of another team in the NFC North, Sammy D's getting a full year, Mike.
Called it.
I've been saying it for years. The 7th year of a player's career is the year they start playing well.
No.
Oh, you don't agree?
I still have hope for Sam Darnold. I have an inkling of hope for Sam Darnold to being great.
I was going to say
Just
7
based
years
off the
in?
body of work. I can't believe it's been 7 years. That he's in the league
7 years
already.
in, Mike.
I believe, no, it makes a lot of sense because he was in the system last year with
100%,
Shanahan
yep. Mhm.
and Kevin, what's his name, O'Brien? O'Connell. I knew he's a Mick.
Yep.
But he's the same tree of
Running gun, Shanahan offense. Yeah, I mean, I do think he's going to play better here than he did in fucking New York or Carolina because
he's in a dome, best wide
hellscapes.
receiver in the world,
Yep,
arguably. And
good
you have
halfback
TJ
and Aaron
Hawkinson.
Jones, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, who did he get hurt today? Or did I just hear that? Is that hearsay?
I have not heard anything about Jordan Addison and an injury. I did hear about J.J. McCarthy's injury, though. This breaking
Jordan
yesterday.
Addison's okay. J.J. McCarthy is not okay. I think I just
Adam
heard it.
Schefter reports yesterday that J.J. McCarthy will be held out for the rest of the season due to a knee surgery.
Yeah.
Which it was
already,
a meniscus tear.
He already
which
got
I'm
it.
so
He already got the surgery today. You have two choices with the meniscus, and this happened with Philadelphia too. You can either repair the meniscus, like have it reconnect, or you can pull it and then it's just bone on bone. Players have done that a lot, but you're not doing that with the fucking rookie quarterback.
Speaking from somebody who's had a scope, as they would call this surgery,
primetime athlete, yep,
or a meniscus tear, which I have had.
Yep.
So to give everybody an idea, there's your fibia, there's your tibia, and they connect.
And then your skibia.
Joint. No, and at the knee joint. Now, in between that joint is a pad known as your meniscus, which is cartilage, which sits there as a shock absorber. Now, if you bend and pull in one direction or another, or come up lifting weights with your foot wrongly placed, and you hear a lovely little pop, or years and years of abuse up and down, bending, twisting, things that happen in football, you would find out that you can tear that cartilage.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not bulletproof. So there's really no way of repairing it.
Yeah.
There's really ways of removing it.
Well, what you can like tie it together, like sew it, whatever the fuck the term is.
It doesn't work. It doesn't. Cartilage really doesn't regrow.
Yeah.
Cartilage doesn't truly regrow, though.
But you prefer that over the full removal of the whole fucking thing.
You don't remove the whole thing. You remove what's torn.
Yeah.
What's existing will exist. Now, there's parts, there's days Uncle Mike's knee is fantastic. There's days Uncle Mike's knees are not so fantastic. Some days I feel so old, Vince. I know I just turned the Jesus age. But some days I do feel it with the barometric pressures.
Well, you feel like a rookie in the NFL right now. So, honestly, you're a young man.
Well, for J.J. McCarthy, this is ideal, and I don't think there is a shot that he doesn't play this season. I think
they already announced he's out.
Okay, if Sam Darnold is horrible by week 5, which week
5,
year 7 renaissance,
right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they start calling for Sammy D's head. There's not going to be a surprise that he might play.
Well, also Minnesota's not expecting a competing team.
I think it's more so just okay. We don't want to rush him back. We don't want to re-injury this, but it's such a minor injury and it's such a minor invasive surgery. It's 3 holes in your knee.
Right.
It's no big deal. They don't cut you open.
I just think if they're out of contention in the first 6 weeks and he can come back, I don't think they're going to. What's the point? Just keep them
Reps,
out,
baby.
strengthen it up.
Reps, baby.
Dude, it's already wraps for Minnesota. Like, if they're not better, or if they're better than the Bears, they're still not better than two other teams, and I don't think they're better than the Bears. So, like, what are they competing for?
I think Sammy D's going to have a similar year to a Kirk Cousins has had there in that system. I believe.
I don't doubt that, to be honest. He comes in as a veteran who plays well a year. I wouldn't be surprised. He's not going to be the fucking MVP, but he will be a guy that comes in and you're like, oh, this is surprising. Like, he's actually playing pretty well. Like one of those years. Like a Geno Smith in Seattle, where you're like, oh, shit. Okay, he's better than we thought.
That could very well happen for Sammy D. I mean, he has proven he has the arm talent. He can win games in the NFL.
Yep.
So you hope Sammy D pulls it out there. And
He
JJ
just-
McCarthy, get well soon. You
He
hate
just
to
got
see
the
it to a
worst
young
injury
kid.
of all. He kissed a lady in New York and got mono and then played for the fucking Jets for 3 years. He can't
Right.
beat
I mean,
that.
hey, you go from Cali, surfing girls, and then you get to New York and you got some Gina's Marie's and
How you
maybe a Gina
doing?
Marie, you go to a club, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. 1, 2 trees.
Okay. So Jaden Daniels, another rookie quarterback we got to
Yes.
discuss.
Good.
Fairly good.
Supposedly he's
Preaching.
really good. Supposedly they're liking him a lot in Washington. He also has a decent receiving core behind him. He has Eckler behind him as well. Like, maybe Washington does some silly things this year too, man.
I don't see it, but I just think it's preseason and people want to overreact to rookie quarterbacks who put some balls in some pretty nice spots.
Speaking of overreactions, there's 2 men in New England right now, and one of them is a little bit better than the other.
Oh,
One by
your
the name of
Tennessee
Drake
King?
May, and one of them by the name of Joe Milton. Not even a Tennessee bias, even though I do like Tennessee. Joe Milton had a pretty fun fucking game the other day. Fun little preseason game for a man named Joe Milton. He could launch the fucking ball. It was fun to watch at the least.
Well, he'd throw the ball out of the stadium, but once again, he played against threes. It's like Austin Booker getting 3
Yep.
sacks against threes, right?
You're 100% right,
So-
but god damn it, if the Patriots go into a QB controversy already, I'm going to love it. I want them to have a hard time for a long time.
Everybody said Drake May wasn't the guy.
He
so...
wasn't. He was Mitch Trubisky. I've been saying it since he was at North Carolina. I was like, he's another Mitch Trubisky.
Does
he's
North
bigger.
Carolina maybe have like the worst stretch of quarterbacks over
No,
the
because
past
they're
5
good
years?
in college. Are you saying like in the pros?
Yes.
Well, what do you got? You got 2 of them in the one of them hasn't played yet, and we're already fucking taking him down.
Poor guy.
No,
Who knows? He could be great. He could be
He's
great.
also on the Patriots, and they find a way, and then Brady will fucking talk to him for a little bit, and all of a sudden he'll be good. Like, we know how this shit goes.
Not necessarily true, but I understand.
It's Green Bay. It's Green Bay East, man. You get one quarterback, you get quarterbacks for the rest of eternity.
They haven't been good in a long time, Vince.
The Patriots?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I know,
almost
but
5
who have
years
they
now.
had? They had Mac Jones. We all knew he was Sack Jones from the beginning.
Yeah, it might be
He
on
was
the
Greg
sack maybe.
McElroy light. Like, we knew how that shit was going to go.
Goes to show you it's the most coveted position in all of sports
Yep.
is a
You could-
starting true NFL quarterback.
You could try 5 times in 5 years, and you're probably wrong every time. That's the
You don't even have to be like amazing. You could just be decently good and win football games. Brock Purdy is going to
Yeah.
get paid $300 million.
He's
And
also
he looks
on
like
the,
a fucking accountant.
he's on the most well-constructed team we've seen in like 20
Correct.
years.
And like, if I learn the system, I might be able to complete a pass in a week. We'll see.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. Watch that
One.
meniscus, though. Okay, we're wrapping up, but we got some MLB stuff here.
Yeah, Vince.
Jarren Duran, shall we?
Oh,
Jarren Duran is suspended for 2 games after he uttered an anti-gay slur that starts with an F at a fan on Sunday's game.
Oh.
That was picked up by the microphone, I assume, on the umpire, and gives himself 2 games. Monday and Tuesday, he gets suspended for it. Tweet of the year was, telling me someone used a slur in Fenway is like telling me someone found spoons in the kitchen. That's true. It's true.
It's so true.
They say a lot of fucked up shit in Boston. They say a lot of fucked up shit in New York. They say a lot of fucked up shit in Chicago. We've talked about this. I'm sure that happens every game. I would not be surprised.
He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, how many
Three-
times, if you know the situation, how many times you've been hanging out with your buddy and the same words have probably come out of
Someone
your mouth.
flies
No
one
way.
and you're like, all right, Jesus Christ. But like the problem with this, more than anything, obviously if you're in a professional environment, you shouldn't be throwing that word around, regardless. I don't care who the fuck you are.
He's a
But
professional baseball player. He was
I
probably
know.
getting chirped something crazy.
Which I agree with. It's the same thing with Tom Brenneman. Hot mics, baby. There's mics everywhere. The FCC has a job to protect against foul language when children are watching programs. That's been the case for fucking ever. Same reason Tom Brenneman gets in trouble. Same reason Jarren Duran gets in trouble.
Real question, real talk.
Yeah.
Okay, R. Kelly. Now,
Real tongue.
when you catch an NFL hot mic, you hear guys coming off the field like screaming F's and this and that.
Right.
So they can't pin down who it is, though.
What
because
is
they're in
that
helmet.
F? And also, who is that F towards?
We've
you
heard
say-
it on NFL.
if you say
You've heard it
fuck-
on an NFL Sunday. They just can't pin down who it is.
And that's true.
Because
And then
it's
also,
not
if you say
still
fuck
moving.
or shit or asshole or whatever, it's not derogatory to a certain
Fuck,
like
piss,
center
shit,
of people.
cunt, motherfucker.
Now, if someone
It's
screams,
George Carlin's words that you can't say on TV.
essentially, and like again, if someone screams an anti-black slur at a black dude and he's a white dude, he's getting suspended. Same reason Mason Rudolph got a helmet to the head from Myles Garrett, because he said the N-word.
Did he
Remember
really?
That? That was the whole story. Myles Garrett's like, he said the N-word. I fucking smashed the helmet into his head. I mean, to that point, though, if he got caught saying it and it was on a hot mic, yeah, that guy's getting fucking suspended. You can't do that. You can't be anti-anything. Like, that's...
Jarren Duran's not hanging out on Halstead anytime soon. Let's just
No,
put it that way.
most certainly not. He's hanging out with the Italians in Boston where they're just letting that shit fly all the time.
Totally.
But
Totally.
more than anything, if he said it and no one caught it, he wouldn't have been suspended. But the hot mic did, and it was on national television.
They got to
He
make
gets
an
suspended.
example. They got to blow it
It's-
out of proportion.
Yeah,
That's what they
A
gotta
plus B equals C. 2 games.
do. Corporate
he's done.
America, people.
And hey,
Fall
Jarren
in
Duran,
line.
don't be throwing around F slurs when you're playing baseball. If you just
Nah.
don't do that, that's usually if all he's got to do is not say that. That's all he's got to do.
I'm sure there's worse things said about people's mothers on a baseball field. Vince,
For sure.
You
Just
know?
probably shouldn't say it. You're at work. I
They're
can't
grown
say
men
it at work.
playing a sport.
I can't
That's
say
the
it at work.
difference. We can't relate it to what we do because
Yeah,
they're
we get
out
paid
playing a
less.
I know. And they're playing a kid's sport. So what do you think? They have the uttermost professionalism and all time.
There's also an argument to, hey, stop fucking replying to fans. They're all there to see you. You're not there to see them. Who gives a shit what they say? Just go up there and hit
under
it.
his skin, Vince. Got
You got to
under
be
his
mentally
skin.
stronger than that, man. You think pitchers aren't hearing that all day? I've seen some
No
crazy
way.
shit at Sox. No.
I mean, it's absolutely egregious. No way does this sort of thing happen in Boston on a daily occurrence.
Spoons, baby.
Spoons.
Are we on Shohei Ohtani out? Or do you think we're
I mean,
right
he's-
back on this
how is-
Ohtani train?
What, that he's going to win an MVP this year just being a DH makes no fucking sense. But I digress.
Kinda does, though, if you look at his fucking stats.
He's
It's
hitting.
crazy.
An
Yeah,
MVP should be
really
like the
damn
Mookie
well.
Betts type.
I always
Okay,
agree with
granted.
that. You should be able to play in the field. My argument is Ketel Marte should win the fucking NL MVP. Ketel Marte's hitting like 330 home runs right now. He's second place in home runs in the NL after Ohtani. And he plays a position.
Well, and also he's hurt right now, which is not good. Tweaked his ankle. Not
Yeah,
good.
but out for what, a couple games? If it's worse than that, like
Man,
you can,
don't sleep on my D-backs right now, Vince.
they're
Let's go get my hat.
hot.
I might become a fan
hot.
of them because I have no other team to watch. So
I don't even want to talk about that except for sexy ass Grady Sizemore. Hot man. That's a hot guy. I saw him after he got a bunch of shit poured on him, and he's like, I think there was a little bit of beer and Gatorade. He was just wet, and I'm like, all the ladies are just creaming for this shit. So hot. Love that guy.
Can we talk about how great Grady Sizemore was when he played, by the way, though?
Dude, I was saying this to my friend the other day. I'm like, I despised him as a White Sox fan because
He lit us up.
destroyed you in every way. But any single fantasy draft I did in MLB The Show, I drafted Grady Sizemore because he was speed, fielding, and power all at the same goddamn time. He was a beast.
He was arguably one of the best center fielders of his generation. I don't
Easy
think-
underrated badge, too. Easy underrated badge.
Yeah,
because
very much
people
so.
didn't watch the Indians, but he was
Hey.
underrated.
The White Sox are playing a series against the Yankees right now. The first game of that series started on Monday, and the White Sox won. Nobody expected them to win. They won by 12 to 10.
4 or 12-2? Yeah.
Yeah, 12-2, which the winning score was 12 on the 12th, my birthday. You're welcome.
There it is.
Okay.
It's because we
There you
got a
go.
hot guy in as manager, not Tony La Russa's decrepit ass. So we're all right.
There's no way. Timeout. There's no way he's going to be the real deal manager. Do you think?
I want him to be. I want him to be.
Really?
If we're gonna fail and be horrible all the time, why not have a guy like that? At least he's funny.
Yeah, true.
Remember when the Giants had what's his name, the beefcake?
Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, and he wasn't great as a manager, but god damn it, those clips were awesome. And now all he does is go on Instagram shirtless. It's hilarious. I need that for
Yeah.
Grady.
Yeah, he talks. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Well,
We'll
yeah,
see
he's
if
a
Grady.
dingus.
We'll see if
Nope.
Grady gets there. Now, back to the story. I mean, right
Yeah.
now, I don't know. I'm a little Ohtani'd out. If he wins an MVP, it's just cooked for him, and there you go.
And it's like, granted, he probably is the best player in the league. Like, realistically. Could he play outfield? He'd probably be a great left fielder. But they're not putting him in the outfield because they want him to pitch. He's going to be good forever. That's just is what it is. We're fine. Now Aaron Judge is getting the Bonds treatment.
Why?
People
He's
are walking
juicing?
him. They're walking him. He's getting IP'd or IW or whatever the hell you call it. And what ends up happening with that is they also got Juan Soto, and Juan Soto had a 3 home run night last night. So
To see the sheer size of Aaron Judge play
Ridiculous.
baseball live is insane. He looks like he could play football tomorrow.
he looks like he play basketball tomorrow.
He looks
could
like
be
he
a
could
s-
play any major and
He's the
and
size of
professional sport.
LeBron James. They're the same
LeBron
fucking
James.
size. LeBron
To
James.
see him and Giancarlo stand next to each other is insane. They look
Yeah.
like just
The twin
Bash
Twin
Brothers
Powers,
2.0.
rest in peace. 42 on the year for Aaron Judge. That being said, dog days are here. Since mid-June, the records for these 5 teams have dropped off, with only one playing above 500 baseball. These are all teams that were in first or near first in their division. Dodgers 26-20 above 500. Orioles 24-25. Guardians 25-25. Phillies 22-26. Yankees 20-26. Tales old this time. You're good at the beginning. You get worse in the middle, and then we'll see what happens at the end. The Phillies I'm most concerned about because I thought they were just going to win every game for the rest of the year and beat everybody. Don't know if that's going to happen. And then in the inverse, you have teams like the Diamondbacks that are coming through and killing. So,
Also, teams like the Padres, do you realize right now that the Diamondbacks and the Padres are 9-1 in their last 10?
yes, sir.
Insane. These teams can't lose right now.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's ebbs and flows of baseball. It is sad, though. I've become so, like, I guess disincentivized to even watch fucking baseball anymore. I don't really care that it's on more than just having it on as background music. I track all the stats because I'm doing my job and I still love baseball, but it's just like I turn it on, I'm like, who fucking cares? Like, it's so sad. I need the playoffs to be here so I can not have a rooting interest and just watch good October baseball. But it's just, I see the White Sox and I'm like actively avoiding even seeing any clips. It's so bad.
If you named like 4 players on the team right now, I don't even know
Yeah.
if I'd recognize them.
I got Vaughn
that bad.
Benintendi. What is that? Kai Bush. He's a pitcher. Crochet's still on it. And Robert. That's all I got. Corey Lee. Corey Lee. What position does he play? Fuck if I
Catcher.
know. Is he?
Catcher.
He
Yeah, he's a
he
catcher.
had a home run the other day. That's the only reason why I knew.
That's cool.
I don't care about any.
Just 'cause- I know. This is why I said I need to become a Diamondbacks fan for the rest of
Do
the year.
it for your
Because
sanity.
at least they're fun to watch.
Yeah, just do it for your sanity, man. It's bad.
So that's what I'm going to do. Well, I mean, Vince, to your point, it is the dog days. Kind of thank God for the Olympics. Right now, baseball usually gets slow. You're in that lull point
Yeah.
after the trade deadline before the playoffs start. It's a lot of games in a general census of a league, 162. But I just think we need to document the Braves fall off, even though they don't have their best player. But
Well, this was my thing too. Is Acuna went out, and I remember saying this to you. I'm like, well, 2021, he went out. They win the World Series. First time in 5 years, I believe, that the Braves were outside of playoff contention.
Now they do have Jorge Soler coming back to them, which is
Yeah.
interesting to pay attention to.
He'll hit
because-
200 with 50 home runs.
but he could be a playoff piece. We'll see if they
Uh-huh.
could make a wild card if you
Yeah.
pay attention to those things.
But it
Right
is
now,
crazy that they're not in playoff contention because it's like so. We're just used to seeing the Braves in October right now.
We still got another 60 days of baseball left, really.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, I foresee the Phillies wrapping up the East, unless the Braves can come out of nowhere, the Mets can come out of nowhere, which that has happened. I
The
mean,
Mets
hey,
have
how about
been
the Mets?
good.
How about the Mets fall from grace a couple years ago, where they had the division on lock and then
Last
just completely,
year, dude.
just-
Remember all the guys they got last year and
just
the
completely
opposite.
just fell off.
Yeah.
And that could potentially happen. Now, you do love to see the Central being what it is right now. I mean, hey, how about those Cards and Brewers? I mean, the Brewers, they lost their manager. Didn't matter.
And
Dodgers
it went
are
to
going
a
to dodge
team that it didn't matter either.
Now, the Dodgers, I would say, with Mookie coming back, you have to pay attention to that because
They're still the best team in baseball, dude.
he's Mookie.
They're
He's
still the
Mookie.
best team.
Sure.
regardless,
But
they're
with
still-
Mookie, they're far better. Because
Yeah,
Mookie's
100%.
maybe the worst trade ever is Boston getting rid of him. Maybe.
Mookie Betts also playing right field. And putting
Mookie
him
Betts
back.
could play. I believe Mookie Betts could also play anywhere on the field.
He could pitch, bro.
He could do-
Put him out there.
Put the gear on him, he'll catch. I mean, he'll
Yeah.
do anything.
Easy. Yeah, but
Shortstop, second base, right field, center field. It doesn't matter. Put him
they are
anywhere.
putting him in right field now. They're putting him in the outfield. And I don't know if he's happy or sad about that, but he is in Swiss Army knife.
Swiss
excuse me.
Iron Army knife.
Yeah.
What about Chris Sale? Renaissance of
Yeah,
maybe
Cy Young Sale?
Jeez,
I mean,
good for him.
yeah, he's
2
playing on,
years of
he's
just
playing on a team
consist-
that's not in contention right now.
Well, they're only
unfortunately.
6 games out of first.
I know,
ones.
I
There's
know,
a
I'm
lot of
fucking with
baseball
them.
left to be played. It
I'm
could still
fucking with
change.
Atlanta. Yeah, I'm fucking with Atlanta. I know.
Yeah, I still believe that the Phillies are going to represent the National League in the World Series.
I think
Now-
so too.
I really like the Orioles, but that's my way too early right now.
Yeah, hey, Gunnar Henderson's still killing. Jackson Holiday comes back up and starts playing well now. I
You knew it
mean,
was gonna
again,
happen.
yeah, it was gonna be at some point. You know how baseball goes. Baseball, it's a day to day. At some point, anybody can get hot. I would like to say one thing though. There's a lot of baseball left, but only one team is statistically out of contention for the division and for the playoffs in general. And
No
that's the
way.
Chicago-
Who?
That's the Chicago White Sox.
Oh no.
They might lose 120 games this year, so let's just remember that as we watch.
Wow.
They might break a record.
When's-
Yeah,
Vince, when's the last season without a 100-win team?
2015, Mike. 2015.
Really?
Yeah, not so long ago. Feels like it would be, but not so long ago.
Hmm.
But 4 best teams since June: Diamondbacks, Padres,
Yeah.
Astros, and the Mets.
Now, when's the last time a team won 100 or lost 120 plus games?
Never.
Ha!
I don't think. I don't
Oh,
think. I think
I love it.
121 might be the record. So we're well on our way at this point. So bad.
Baseball playoff time can't. This is the problem, especially in Chicago when the baseball teams are not good, leading towards fall. Everybody just diverts attention to the Bears, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
And you can't deny it.
100%. You
It's
could
usually
be
how
you
this
could be a
plays.
Bull, you could be a Cubs, you could be a Sox fan, but everybody's a Bears fan. If you're a Packers fan, leave the city. I still don't know why you guys live here.
So, Vince, I have a new character.
Okay.
It's kind of a riff on a super fan, Bears.
Okay.
So, wife last night and I were watching Love is Blind UK. And if
Okay.
anybody's ever heard of the premise of Love is Blind, they basically put people in rooms, men in a,
And they
so-
fall
so
in love
you-
in a day, and
They fall in love and they got to get married in a month's time because they meet and they say that love has no bearing and it doesn't matter your face, shape, size. It's just love is love and beauty's
Which
in the
is
eye of
such
the beholder.
horse shit.
I agree. 100%.
Everybody
But-
has this physical attraction. It's such horseshit. But yeah, proceed.
I digress. And like the two poster people in the American version are Nick Lachey and Jennifer Lachey, or whatever the hell her name is.
Yeah.
And they're two very beautiful people. So
Hot,
it's so
yeah.
contradicting
Mhm.
in general, right? But
Yeah.
now they have the UK version and everybody has British accents. So I was thinking about this and I was like, how awesome would it be if you just had one like Southside Polish dude from Chicago on the UK version of Love is Blind? Like interview him like, yeah, nice to meet you. I'm Paul Callahan from South Side of Chicago, 31st
from
and
Thinly Bach.
31st and Sauganash, and I'm here to find love. I've lived in the South Side for a long time, and I am here to find the absolute love of my life to go to Sox games with.
My
And then-
ex-wife doesn't like that I drink beers in the garage all day.
And then you just have like all these British girls just like, oh, so where are you from? And what you doing from Manchester? It's like, yeah, so I'm from I'm from this little town called Bridgeview, and we love the Sox and we love Connie's Pizza. So anytime you want to come out, sweetheart, this is where
I
my
like
brain
it.
goes.
I like it. I think they should add that. Throw a wrinkle
Culture
in it, man.
shock.
Throw a
Throw a
wrinkle
wrinkle
in
in it. Throw either that. Never mind. All right. Well,
it. Some things are better off unsaid.
we'll save that one for next week.
Okay.
As always, people, thank you for joining us. Another week. Mike's Jesus year 33.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah. Also Aaron
Pippen.
Rowan year.
Scottie
Also or Pippen year,
Yeah.
right? Pippen year. It's going to be on fleek.
Mhm.
Thank you guys for joining us as you do each and every week. As you know the drill, share it, follow it, send it to a friend, send it to a sibling. You're the sibling. As always, we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Talking tales with Mike and Vince. Oh, you know. Jazzy beats while we dispense. Yeah, you know.